Welcome back to Relationships at Work, the leadership guide to creating a workplace we love. I'm your host, Russel Lolacher. Welcome to the show where we help leaders create amazing workplaces and stop them from trying to destroy them. I'm a communications and leadership nerd with a couple of decades of experience and a heap of curiosity on how we can lead and work together to improve the employee experience. This show is a great resource to help us with that. Every week on the show, I talk with a global or local leader on topics that are here to help us improve the workplace. I've tackled such topics as negativity, culture, renovation, plain language, imposter syndrome, diversity, equity, inclusivity, belonging, empathy, activism, burnout. I have a feeling we're going to be talking about all those topics far into the future, even as we approach episode number 100 on this show. And now, as an added bonus, every Thursday, I'm dropping an additional episode pulled from the pages of our weekly Raw Note, which, by the way, you can still subscribe to. This episode is just a quick and valuable bit of information under 10 minutes on top of our regular show. So, the Raw Note that I'm passing on to you this week is called, Where's the Company Care in Our Success? Who is responsible for our success within our employee journey? Here's a big tip. I said our twice. Who cares about our success within that journey? Again with the our. Well, truthfully, we do. Obviously. But does the organization that we dedicate our time and attention to also care about our success? Well, the blatant truth is that some do and some don't. Some say they do, but don't really when it matters. And the opposite can also be true. Some don't put up inspirational posters, but they're also the first to give us a day off if we need to address personal issues. They care about us as humans. Some talk of innovation and new ways of working, but then can't figure out what remote work means, or how it can actually work since they even did it for 3 years during COVID, to mass success. We know organizations care about their own success. Bottom lines, Q1 through Q4 deliverables, mandates to meet, goals to set, all that stuff. It's usually pretty obvious based on their measurables and their vision and mission statements. But how do you know if your success is also important to the organization you work for? Now, I'm a big fan of self-reliance. We are responsible for ourselves. But that doesn't get employers off the hook either. Employees need to feel organizations are investing in them as much as they are investing in the organization. Doing it for a paycheck just isn't enough anymore, if it ever really was. And that's certainly been more evident in the last couple of years. And that's certainly changed after the pandemic, and how generations like Gen Z, I'm Canadian, so Gen Z to you Americans, and millennials who've been very vocal on how they prefer and want to work. So as an organization and as leaders, it's important to understand those expectations. I put together a list of questions that we can ask ourselves to gauge where we work and how much they care about our success. Is the culture a supportive friend, invested in our success so we can all be better? Or is it a narcissist that only sees us as what we can do for them? Now, here are some questions. Does the organization that you work for provide opportunities for professional development and training? Does the organization have a clear career advancement process in place? Do your leaders regularly check in with you about your career goals and how they can support you in achieving them? Does the organization value and recognize employees for their hard work and contributions to the company, especially in a way that shows they actually know the employee, that it's personalized, not just a cookie cutter, hey, it's pizza day, but actually recognizing the individual for their contributions and catering the recognition to that employee, to you? Does the organization offer mentorship or leadership development programs? Does the organization encourage and support employees in taking on leadership roles or new challenges? Stretch goals. Does the organization have a culture of continuous learning and growth? How many yeses and nos did you get when you're thinking about your own organization? Even if you thought about all these questions and said, yes, but that was 4 years ago and it never went anywhere, then that's also not a thing. It's not a culture that supports those types of programs. It might have been. It might have been back in the day been investment, but things change, leadership changes, direction changes, and maybe the organization doesn't prioritize its employees as much as they used to. And that's okay, but as an employee, that's something you really should know and understand based on how much time and effort you put into the organization. See, the funny thing is organizations do performance reviews. We've all been in them, and they're there to determine we, employees, are meeting the requirements of the job and proving our worth in contribution to the organization's success. Well, questions like the one I offered, they allow us to do the same for the organization we work for. We should be able to be assessing them on if they're meeting the needs and promises they made when we were onboarding. So how about a performance review to determine how they are meeting the requirements of employment and growth, proving their worth and their contribution to our success? Keep in mind, it's our responsibility. You can't really say it's anybody else's when it comes to our own success. But employers just can't be off the hook on this. They can't be wanting to take and take and take without giving and giving, especially nowadays when employees will go somewhere else if they're not getting the experience that they want to have. Now, if you love your job and you said a whole bunch of no's to those questions, it's fine. How you determine what success looks like is up to you, not anybody else. It's not comparable. It is your success. But we need to determine that for ourselves, and we need to determine what that looks like in the organization that we work in. We grow based on the environment we are in. Just like a plant. Just like a plant. So make sure we're putting down roots that will nurture our success, whatever that looks like. Not just say it does, not just says it will, but actually values you as a human and one that they want to invest in because they see how you're investing in the organization. It needs to be more of a two-way street, even if the responsibility is on us. Happy growing. And that'll do it for another episode of Relationships at Work, the Raw Note mini episode. This is a leadership guide to creating a workplace we love. I'm Russel Lolacher. Thank you so much for listening to me and hearing my experience and insights in these smaller bite-sized episodes as you're headed off to work, or you're taking a lunch break, or you just need to think about things and maybe reassess your employee experience and the workplace culture you find yourself in. I always appreciate your time, and thank you for spending it with me. Take care.